Let's take a look at this video first.
Even in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, the moment that he comes out, indication when he comes out during a moment with three brothers, the other children and the sons of a Khalifa. That's why the scholars say there could be Khilafah before the Mahdi.
Okay, so the first thing first, these three sons we have today, in Saudi Arabia, they have issues. I mean, every family they have issues. But this particular family in Saudi Arabia seems to be not getting along with each other the way you would see in some other families in the Middle East. The coming of MBS into power is not something that is being agreed by all of the family members. Would this the beginning of those three sons of a Caliph coming into existence before the end of time? We do not know. Maybe not. I personally do not believe that is to be the case, that we will be seeing from MBS and his family, those three sons that have been mentioned, who will be fighting for a treasure under Kaaba. I don't personally believe that. Nevertheless, these scholars, the ulama, they mentioned that there will be three sons of a Caliph coming out fighting for the treasure, and none of them will get it. And that's the time when the Mahdi will appear. Before the Mahdi, would there be a Khalifa or would there be a Khilafat system in the world? I personally do not believe that story. I believe that the Khilafah of Mahdi is going to be the last Khilafah on earth before Qiyamah happens. The reason for that is because Mahdi, first of all, is a big figure. Second of all, the Khilafah, if we establish a Khilafah today, that Khilafah will have to deal with what is happening with the Palestinians, the Jerusalem issue, the Yahudi, they're trying to build the third temple, all of these things. The Khalifa has to deal with all of this. And the Khilafah is not going to be doing it, because if you have a Khilafah at the moment, first of all, it is going to be almost impossible, unless Allah wills, to have a Khilafah right now, because the countries, the Western countries, US, all of these countries, including Muslim countries, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, they do not want Khilafah in the world right now for the Muslims, simply because then you are going to be replacing these powers with the Islamic power. They do not want that. Second of all, even if we have a Khilafah system, then this system is not going to be able to deal with Israel, because Israel, as the Hadith mentioned, they will become what? More and more powerful. The city of Medina will become kharab. Rasulullah, he prophesies the city of Medina will decline and the city of Jerusalem will rise. This is exactly what is happening today. So if we have a Khilafah and it tries to suppress that, then it is going to be against the Hadith, the prophecy. So the Khilafah, first of all, it is not going to be established. Second of all, even if it is established, it cannot do anything, because then it will go against the prophecy that Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem, will rise. And today it is rising. If you take a look at Israel, they are becoming technologically very, very advanced. There are a lot of other things. So I don't personally think that these three sons of Caliph will be coming from the Saudi Arabia, this government, from the Saud family. But what I believe is that once we have the Malhama taking place, dear brothers and sisters, after the battle, the fierce battle, Malhamatul Kubra, some ulama they referred it as, after that, and also after the World War III, when the current system will be completely gone, Jerusalem, all of these countries, cities will be affected. Once that happens, then there will be a new system under which there will be a Khilafah system. And nobody will care. You are establishing Khilafah, I don't care, because this is after World War III. I need to first think about my own food, my own survival. I don't care who is establishing Khilafah, right? That time. But now we do care because of the technology and the superpower that we have from the West. So this is when the Khilafah will be established, and those three sons will come out, and that's the time. I'm talking about all of these events will happen after World War III. That's the time when the final hour will, the major signs will also take place. Now, what will happen after the coming of the Mahdi? I mean, the Mahdi is here, and we know that he's going to be supporting Isa ibn Maryam, and then Isa ibn Maryam will establish the rule of Allah, and Imam Mahdi himself will establish the rule of Allah on land. But what will happen after Isa ibn Maryam is here and he is taking up the leadership role? Well, believe it or not, there is absolutely no hadith. Okay, there is absolutely no hadith, or there is absolutely no mentioning of the Mahdi after Isa ibn Maryam will come in Damascus, in Syria. If you remember the hadith, that Isa ibn Maryam will be descending on this minaret, placing his hand on top or on the shoulder of the two angels, if you remember that. After that, we do not have any mentioning of Imam Mahdi. Obviously, the Mahdi will be leading the Salah, and Isa ibn Maryam will be behind him, but after that, there's no hadith. So, after the Mahdi's death, we do not know what will happen, but we know for sure that Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, is going to take over the leadership role for the Muslims, and that is the time also when we will see all this fitna taking place, three sons of Caliph coming out, fighting for leadership, dominance, and treasure.
Three brothers belong to one father, Khalifa. After the death of their father, they'll fight over his kingdom.
Again, this will happen after WW3, after a lot of battles and major
After the
battles.
death of their father, they'll fight over the kingdom of their father. One will kill the other two. And they'll fight over treasure under the Kaaba.
Mm-hmm.
The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, they'll fight over treasure under the Kaaba. At that moment, the family of the Prophet ﷺ will be oppressed.
I also want to make mention of one thing very, very interesting, which is that, do you know, if you stop doing tawaf around Kaaba, do you know what will happen if you stop doing that? According to some report, I'm not sure if I can agree with this. According to some report, it said basically that the rotation of our solar system will stop. The rotation of the Milky Way will stop eventually, because all of these things depend on the tawaf around the Kaaba by the Muslims, because there is always someone doing tawaf, right, making that circle, circumambulating the Kaaba. So if that stops, the universe will collapse, according to one report. Again, I don't know if this is true or not, but something very, very interesting could be possible, because what's the point of this existence of the creation of Allah if nobody is doing tawaf, if nobody is remembering Allah Azza wa Jal, right? Something very, very interesting that I can inshallah discuss in the next video for sure. I have some comments here. Ilil Pumpkin, thank you. Saif, brother. The guide, Saif, brother Saif, thank you, Saif, brother, and the other people. Please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you soon again, inshallah.